Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and you're very welcome to this video about dividing and repotting bromeliads. Now, I have as my example today this beautiful Neoreligia. Just look at that. It makes a fantastic and easy houseplant that will just tick on for many, many years. And it's best to buy these plants, bromeliads in general, because of their beautiful, colourful bracts. Buy it for that rather than the flowers, because the bad news is that when this plant eventually kicks into flower, and it may take several years, it will then die. But it should produce pups, as my plant is currently doing. And these pups will quickly grow into plants that are as big a size and as beautiful as the parent. So stick with me, and today we're going to run through dividing and repotting these pups. Bromeliads make very easy and rewarding houseplants. They require normal house temperatures. They do well in bright indirect light, so that's probably an east-facing windowsill. And you need to water them when they dry out completely. So when the soil has dried out completely, give it a bit more water. But, and this is very important, because bromeliads are basically epiphytes. They grow on trees in the wild, and their roots are really just to help them cling to whatever they climb up. They don't really absorb water. It's the leaves and the central well that absorb water. So whenever you water this plant, pop a little bit of water into the center. I know, how strange is that? Normally we say not to get water into the center of plants, but with bromeliads, that's exactly what you should do. They also like a bit of ambient humidity. So you may need to set up a humidity tray or keep them in a bathroom or whatever you might do in your particular environment. Now, Neoreligias and most bromeliads, they flower just once in their lifetime and then they die. But most of them will produce pups when they do. And these are the growths that we can see on the side of this plant. As the mother plant goes on the decline, you can actually cut off the flower spike, although that's not really possible in this instance because the flower is quite deep kind of inside the bracts. You then need to decide if it's time to repot. Now there's no rush on this at all. You can just leave it for a longer period of time, because the longer you leave it, the more pups or babies it will produce. But once the babies are a third or a half the size of the parent plant, then you can repot, preferably in summer. But if you do it in winter, like I'm doing now, then do keep your plant warm and in high humidity afterwards, and it should be fine. I'm choosing to repot my plant now because it becomes difficult to water the pups, to get water into the central well with these babies because of the way they're pushed out by the parent plant. Now, the babies will continue to gain sustenance from the parent plant so long as they're attached. So I guess it's not really an issue. However, in places where the plant perhaps has less humidity than it should, it's a good idea to divide once the babies are big enough. The first thing I'm going to do is take this plant out of its pot. You can see it's quite a small pot, and that's no harm whatsoever. Just go around the edges, loosen it as much as possible, and if necessary, cut the plastic pot to release the roots. Whoa, that's quite a root ball. The next thing I'm going to do is just remove the lower spent bracts. These might come off quite easily, or they might require cutting. If you cut them, especially on a plant that's not going to be discarded like I'm going to do with the parent plant, cut at a 45-degree angle. with the removal of the lower bracts, it's easier to see what's going on with those pups and where exactly they join into the mother plant. Now, you can see I have two babies, this one and this one. And today we're going to give them their freedom, time for them to grow up. The next step is to remove the pups. Now, it would be great if I could remove them with some root, but I fear I won't be able to in this instance. So just firmly hold the baby plant and bear down, trying not to break straight out to get as much of the stem as possible. In this instance, I think what I'll do is just remove the leaf that is between it and the mother plant, just for better access. Now, I am going to discard the mother plant afterwards, so I don't really care too much what I do with it. And this just gives me the best opportunity possible to get root. Okay, no root at all on that one. Let's hope we manage a bit better on the other one, but I don't think so, because you can see the baby plant is a long way up from the root ball. In this instance, I think what I will do is just radically cut off the parent plant, because as I said, I'm going to discard it anyway. And I wonder, will this allow me to find some roots that belong to the baby? This might seem a bit radical, because some people will repot the mother plant just to allow it to go on and produce more pups, which it may well do. But I'm not really concerned with that. I'm going to discard it, as I think I mentioned already. Well, I can see exactly what's going on here, and this baby just has produced no roots at all. But never mind, when I pot it up, it will get its chance. By the way, I forgot to mention that this plant was gifted to me originally by a viewer in Germany called Bjorn. So thank you so much, Bjorn. I love it, I've enjoyed it, and I'm going to continue to enjoy it for many years to come. Okay, so I think this is just a very lazy baby. It hasn't bothered at all to make any roots. So I do want to remove this central bit, which is a piece of the parent plant. And there. Okay, exactly like the first one. And my mix is a third potting compost, 1/3 perlite, which is a wonderful airy substance, and you could use 1/3 orchid bark, but I don't happen to have any, so I'm using clay pebbles, and this just kind of opens up the mix and makes it nice and aerated, because remember, this plant doesn't want dense potting mix. It's an epiphyte. My pots of choice are plastic and quite shallow, and definitely not too big. What you mustn't do with this plant is overpot. So I'm going to bury these, but I need to make sure that there's not too much soil around the plant, otherwise, well, it wouldn't augur well. So just put a little bit of the mix in here in the pots. Normally we'd just bury it in here, but what I want to do, just to give this plant the best chance possible, is remove the lower bracts, because if it has a propensity to produce roots, that's going to help, well, it's just going to help it to do so. So just remove whatever will come off easily, and then just plunge it into the mix. not burying it deeply. I'm just going to firm it a bit around the plant. I keep my bromeliads in a pot, but alternatively you could mount them with a bit of sphagnum moss on a cork or clay mount and just kind of hang them somewhere, but that's not practical for me, so we're going with pots. So what I'm going to do now is water them, both the compost and put a little water in the central well of the plants and keep them in a warm room. So I need ambient humidity for these plants, more than I've been giving the parent plant, because they don't have roots, right? So they need to be able to get their water through the leaves. And just what you might consider, because it is winter, if you do this in winter, is to maybe, cover them with plastic, if you can do so, so that the plastic doesn't touch the plants, just to trap the humidity in. There you go. That's it. I've just repotted and divided my Neoreligia. Same process can be done for bromeliads in general, a vast majority of them anyway. I hope you found the video useful, and if so, then do give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.